This is what it takes to do a Wednesday farmer's market in my microbakery. I'm up at 4 a.m. to preheat that oven. It takes about an hour and a half to preheat, and so in the meantime I'm doing other things, cleaning up, getting ready for the focaccias, and then finally it's time to put the first round of loaves in the oven. I do 9 at a time. My Rofco B40 is out in my garage, so that's why I'm in my garage here. Just scoring the loaves, and then those will bake for 35 minutes per batch. 20 minutes with steam, 15 minutes without, and then they come out nice and golden brown and lovely. On Wednesdays this year, I did not have any help, so I had an intern for maybe one day, but other than that, I really did not have anyone besides me. Get started with proofing the focaccias, so adding olive oil to all the pans, and then I'll measure out 500 grams for the mini focaccias and 1,000 grams for the full-size focaccias. Those are in 9x13 pans, and the smaller ones are in, I want to say 9x6. Re-steaming the oven. I re-steam the oven halfway through. And then here I am just folding the focaccias, giving them a little stretch and fold into reasonable shapes so that they can proof inside the pans and gain a little bit of tension so that they are nice and bubbly when they bake. This day was the last market day of the season, by which point I needed to make more mini focaccias because I was always selling out of them pretty early. And there were people coming up to my booth wondering if they could get a mini focaccia, and I didn't have any leftovers. So those go on the shelf to just proof. I also need to rotate my loaves before the 15-minute bake without steam. So I've turned down my oven to 200 Celsius and rotate them because I find with the Rofco, it has hot zones, unfortunately, but it's still a workhorse, and I am so grateful to have it. Oh my god, I would not be able to do all of this. I'm baking today 28 sourdough loaves, 36 sourdough focaccias, 36 miniature-sized sourdough focaccias, and 6 full-size sourdough focaccias. And now it's time to take those out of the oven and just put in the next batch. So the first 2 batches are 9 loaves each. The last batch is 10. Like I said, I don't have any help on these days. So it's just me doing all the baking, running back and forth between dough, and the oven and the garage and my bakery. And my bakery's in my house, so I've taken over the dining room and the garage by this point. And now it's time for those focaccias to go in the oven because they're fully baked and I'm done with all the loaves. So I basically just put some olive oil on my hands, dimple them with a few fingers, add pink salt. I like using pink salt just because it's a little bit fun. And then those go in the oven with a little bit of rosemary on top as well. Once everything is cooled, I have to package it all because according to Colorado cottage food law, I have to sell everything packaged. I cannot bring it to the market before it's packaged. So half of the time that I spend baking, I also spend wrapping everything. And I cut those pieces of paper from a big roll of butcher paper earlier in the day. And then this is how I package my focaccia. Just a layer of wax paper, which if anybody can give me a source for a bigger roll of wax paper than the normal 75 square foot Reynolds wrap, that would be great, because that's all I can find. Not looking for parchment paper, not looking for wax sheets, a wax paper roll. And then, of course, everything gets some twine for a nice homey touch and a label. That label has my list of ingredients, my required cottage food disclaimer, and they all go in a giant tote box. Here I am doing samples, And the best part of doing samples is that I get to sample my product a little bit. This is sometimes the only sample of my bread that I eat in a day, because if I don't have any left, then I don't eat any of my own bread. So this is my chance to test the product. And then those samples get wrapped individually, because if I don't have them wrapped individually, then I have to bring a hand washing station. And this is the only footage of the farmer's market that I actually got. We got a lot of rain during that market, so I didn't quite sell out, but it was still a lot of work, and a lot of people came out, and it was overall a great season and a great day, and I end it with my own loaf, and that's the end of my 16-hour workday doing a farmer's market.